Welcome to Armand Academy. Like and subscribe for more content and drop your doubts in the comments. Share with your friends and classmates. For private tuition in these subjects across all boards and universities, contact me here or the link in the description. Let's get started. Anubha and Yuvika were partners in a firm, sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. From 1st of April 2024, they decided to share future profits and losses in the ratio 2:3. Okay, so your old ratio is 3:2, your new ratio is 2:3. On this date, the balance sheet showed a balance of 50,000 in the general reserve and a debit balance. Debit balance means a loss, accumulated loss of 2,50,000. Partner decided to write off the P&L account, but decided to leave the general reserve alone, not to distribute the general reserve. Pass necessary journal entries. Okay, now the general reserve is to be left as it is. We will start with breaking up the debit P&L. Okay, your debit P&L has a debit balance. To reduce it, we will have to credit. Okay, and accordingly, who we end up debiting are the partners. Okay, so we've got 2,50,000, which we need to break up among the partners in the old ratio. All right, so I will take 2,50,000 into 3 by 5. Okay, and we have 5 ones are 5 fives are. I'm going to end up with 1,50,000 here. So Anubha will get 1,50,000 and I can subtract. I can multiply into 2 by 5 also, but alternatively I can subtract. Okay, and I'm going to end up with 1 lakh. Now, the journal entry for this is going to be the partner's capital account debit. So Anubha's capital account, Anubha's capital account debit, Yuvika's capital account, Yuvika's capital account debit to the profit and loss. Okay, and I'm going to use the same name that they've used, profit and loss account, profit and loss account. Okay, now the profit and loss account had a debit balance of 2,50,000 and we are closing it by crediting it by 2,50,000 and in turn debiting the partners in the old ratio. Okay, so narration can be the debit balance written off or distributed or transferred. Okay, so being debit balance in P&L account, P&L account. Okay, you all should use full forms, transferred to capital accounts. Partners, capital. Okay, and partners, capital accounts in their old ratio. Okay, next we draw a line and we have to now deal with the 50,000 in general reserve. Okay, and what happens when you are not going to distribute it? You have to treat it how you would treat goodwill. That means you have to adjust it in the sacrifice and gain ratio. All right, so 50,000, and I'm going to go below here. Okay, 50,000, where we know that the old ratio is 3:2, the new ratio is 2:3. So I will only calculate for the first partner. Okay, so 3 by 5 becomes 2 by 5. The sacrifice is 1 by 5. Okay, whose is this? This is Anubha's sacrifice and Yuvika's gain. There are only two partners. The ratio is changing. Okay, one partner's sacrifice. Okay, what have I done here is the sacrifice ratio, which is old ratio minus new ratio. Okay, so old ratio minus new ratio gives me sacrifice ratio. Sacrifice for the first partner's gain for the other partner. So into 1 by 5 is 10,000. So this 10,000 I have to adjust between the two partners based on the normal, you can say, entry for personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Who's the receiver? Yuvika is the gainer, receiver. Anubha is the sacrificer or the giver. Okay, so Yuvika's capital account debit, Yuvika's capital account debit to Anubha's capital account, Anubha's capital account, both of them 10,000, 10,000 and 10,000. All right, being adjustment for general reserve on account of change in PSR, profit sharing ratio. Change in profit sharing ratio. All right. A lot of times finishing the narrations is actually the most time consuming part of the sum, but it is important that you do it. Okay, with that, we're done. You have 2 marks for your journal entries and 1 mark for your calculations. Okay, any doubts, feel free to ask in the comments. And I've done the working note very haphazardly. It is best if you actually have a section for working notes, okay, and do it one below the other. Working notes. Okay, this is actually working note 2. Okay, working note 1 is upstairs over here. Anyway, any doubts, feel free to ask me.